What if I told you that Aleister Crowley is the main antagonist of the entire Toaru franchise? While the series is known for its one-arc antagonists, some people might argue because of that, Index does not have a main antagonist at all, only episodic villains instead. And Aleister himself spends most of his time behind the scenes, so why do I consider him not just to be the main antagonist of Index, but also the main antagonist of the franchise as a whole? That's what I'll explain in this video. By the way, this video will be safe to watch if you're anime only. I will be going into spoiler territory later on, but I'll let you know when that happens so you can easily skip past it with no problems about worrying about spoilers. So just to let you know. That being said, let's begin. Aleister is introduced very early in the series, at the end of the first arc if you watch the anime, or at the beginning of the second volume in the novels, as the board chairman or leader of Academy City. To put that into perspective, he basically has authority over everything that goes down in Academy City. He delegates power to members of the board of directors who govern different sectors such as finance and education, but Aleister is the one with the true and ultimate power in the city. Aleister founded Academy City after World War II, created an environment where he has 2 million lab rat students to develop Esper powers, and is purposefully antagonizing the magic side by using Toma to cause World War III. Aleister is basically the master puppeteer in the city. Nearly everything that happens in the city has been influenced by him in some capacity, including all human experimentation and human rights violations, such as the Sisters Project, for example. So, even when he does not appear physically in the series, his presence is always felt in every single arc that occurs in Academy City. Not to mention, he is always watching what occurs in the city with his underlying technology. And considering Academy City is literally the beating heart of the entire franchise, that means something. In Railgun, for example, Aleister never makes a physical appearance, yet his presence is undeniable. He orchestrates the Sisters Project, manipulating both Accelerator and Toma to fight without them even realizing they are being manipulated. And in the Daihasei arc, the reason why Motoi helps Gensei is because she wants to kill Aleister and destroy the Windowless building because of all the tragedy she has seen from the experimentation in the city. Now, can you say any other character would cause this much influence without even making an appearance? I would argue not. And when he does make a physical appearance in Index, he is always at the centre of the magic and science side politics, manipulating the churches to his own advantage, which leads to war as a result, which is literally the main plot of the first 3 seasons of Index, or Old Testament if you read the novels. That main plot being trying to avoid a war between the two sides of the world. Now I've talked about how important Aleister is. He still cannot be considered the main antagonist if he has no main connection to the main protagonist, Kamijo Toma. But Aleister knows Toma better than Toma knows himself. Aleister is one of the few characters in the series who actually knows what a Magic Breaker is and what the mysterious thing or power is inside it. Something that Toma doesn't even know himself. Aleister also always forces Toma into situations where he is appropriate to deal with the problem, like against Aureolus and Sherry when they entered the city. Aleister in a way is also the perfect opposite of Toma. Toma being the hero who is capable of saving those around him, always at the centre of the action, and barely has any chance to make plans at all, as some problem always spontaneously appears that he must deal with. And then you have Aleister, the mastermind, who constantly hides in the shadows, over-planning everything on a borderline obsession, knows everything about magic and science. Meanwhile, Toma's knowledge is limited with both, especially with magic early in the series. Aleister also has major connections to the 2 other main protagonists. Accelerator being one of his main plans and using him in the Sisters Project, and Hamazura being the anomaly in Aleister's plans that seems to always survive despite the odds. Iwaz even says that the three heroes each have something Aleister doesn't, and talks about the qualities and strengths they have which Aleister lacks. Now, think of another villain in this series that is linked to all three main characters in this way. I don't think you can. Okay, we are now going to talk about New Testament and Genesis Testament spoilers from the light novel. So if you haven't read the index light novel, you can skip to this time in the video to avoid it. Now, we will count down 3, 2, 1. So, if you have read the novel, you might think, Aeon, you're talking out your ass. Aleister turned good, remember? And he is not the ultimate mastermind. He was tricked by Anna and Iwaz. Now, I disagree with this because if you've read the end of Genesis Testament 3, it implies Aleister is back to his main goal of destroying magic after what Noken says to him. His actions after the defeat in New Testament 18 were only because he thought Choronzon had taken over Lola, and Choronzon was the biggest threat, so that's why he needed to deal with her and put his main plan on hold. And now Aleister has more reason than ever to destroy magic and bring back the pure world after he learnt Iwaz screwed him over for Anna and planned to have him kill Lilith after Iwaz revived her. Imagine bringing back to life somebody's dead baby daughter that they loved more than anything in the world in a plan to force you to sacrifice them. It's very fucked up. And as for Aleister being manipulated, if you've read the series from beginning to where we are now, you will know one simple rule. One does not simply underestimate Aleister Crowley. Because, if you remember, only bad things happen to characters who do that. On a serious note, Aleister has been in the series since almost the very beginning, and he is far more influential than Anna and Iwaz to the overall plot in my opinion. Plus, similar to main villains in other franchises, Aleister always finds a way to come back no matter how many times he's defeated or killed. Does that ring a bell? Well, I don't want to jinx it too hard in case he doesn't come back again, but we will have to wait and see. In my eyes, you just can't have a certain magical index or even the Toaru franchise without Aleister. He represents all the hidden secrets of not just the science side, but also the magic side. While he has limited screen time, yes, just look at the main villains from other series. Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine hardly had any screen time in the original trilogy for Star Wars, and Hannibal from The Silence of the Lambs only had around 16 minutes of screen time. And yet these villains had so much of a larger impact. And you could possibly talk about the Joker from The Dark Knight. He doesn't appear in many scenes, and yet after his appearance in the first scene, he influences so many scenes even if he's not actually there in person. Kinda like someone we know, huh? The reason why these villains stand out despite the lack of screen time is pretty obvious. They stand out because there is a lack of screen time. The directors don't show you a lot of these villains. They don't oversaturate them on screen, perhaps. And that is why, when they make an appearance with an impactful scene, they stand out more as a result. Just think about it. All this time we've seen Aleister plotting behind the scenes, calculating cunningly with the next thing he will manipulate into the right side of the chessboard, in a way. And all this time waiting, thinking about who Aleister is and what his plan is, it adds a lot of mystery and depth to him, even if he doesn't actually do much on screen. It keeps him interesting, and it keeps us eager to wait, us as the audience, to see the ultimate payoff of what Aleister will do in the end. When will Aleister finally take the front line, in a way? I feel Aleister is as important in Index as Doctor Doom is to the Fantastic Four or the Joker is to Batman. While their counterpart heroes can and do fight different villains, there is always the main antagonist who is the most important and comes to act as the obstacle to overcome again and again. And that is why Aleister Crowley is the main antagonist of the Toaru franchise. If you enjoyed this video, then please share it to your friends and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really close to 2,000 subscribers at the moment, and I'm planning a few things for it as surprises, so please help me get there, and I need all the support I can get, and I highly appreciate any and all support from you guys. You're the best. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll plan to do more and more and more, so subscribe for the ride. See you around.